She's so appealing that even turtles want to assault her.
Nobody's helping themselves. No one's helping each other. And no one especially is helping the poor reader.
That superhero wanted to cheat on her husband with the other superhero, I guess.
This book continued until the last page of the book.
Yeah.
Miranda Cowley Heller became an author at 50, which is really cool.
If only she had become a good author.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mean Book Club. This week we read The Paper Palace by Miranda Cowley Heller.
Yes,
Thanks.
we did.
She did it.
Oh boy. Did we finish it? Find out. Because it was a tough one, I'll tell you that.
Words were read. Pages were turned.
It was long and felt long. Double whammy.
It was a double whammy, certainly. As always, we are your hosts. I'm Sarah Burton.
I'm Clara Morris.
I'm Jonna Scrabus. Claire always goes second. I'm not sure what the confusion was.
A
And
Slack
last but
came
not
up.
least,
I got a Slack. It distracted me.
Claire, it's my time now. Sabrina B. Jordan.
Yay.
You
We're
gotta
all
put
here,
that,
baby.
you gotta put that focus mode on, Clara.
On your computer?
Focus mode.
How
Yeah.
do you do it on your computer?
I don't know if listeners want to hear me talk about that, but it's a feature.
I
Fine.
think I would.
I don't
It's
get
fine.
any notifications to anything, not even my phone. I don't like it.
Well, you're not even like on the internet though, right? You just do airplane
Barely.
mode.
Yeah, nobody's got anything to notify you. It's different.
Okay.
Um,
I have a doctor.
She's just waiting for her my chart notifications to pop
They
up.
do let you know
Oh.
via email and text. They really come at you. when you
Appointment
have-
reminder.
yeah,
Notice.
I love to get my text
Check-in
reminders.
reminders.
Certainly.
Have you showed up yet? Reminders.
Anyway, so we are Mean Book Club. We read New York Times bestsellers that you guys tell us shouldn't be because you read it for your book club and you were like, this was a hell. Please do this book. Sometimes we love it and sometimes we also hate it. So here we go. Jonna, why are we reading this book? Who told us to read this book?
Well, and let me try to get the accent right because this is an Irish accent.
But it could fade into British because she's an Irish girl in
She's an
London.
Irish girl in London. That does give me some more leeway.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm assuming was born in Ireland but grew up in London, lived her whole life in London. So, so she doesn't have an Irish accent.
This isn't
at
a
all.
character or anything. This is just the person who recommended the book, just for the listener.
Her name is Emily C. And she writes, "Greetings from an Irish girl in London. Thank you so much for the podcast, which I really love and has provided cathartic validation for me regarding some of my unpopular hatreds for popular books. I would recommend." I've got to stop. I'm sorry.
It's definitely English, it's British, but keep going. I would like
Well,
you to...
yeah, because the person who wrote this is Irish descent, but grew up and spent
Sure.
her whole life in London.
Yeah,
And then
sure.
she
Keep
moved to
going.
the United States, and now she has.
Or she just took a flight
Can you
there
just read?
today.
Can you just tell us?
I don't think we need to craft her life
Okay.
story.
I would recommend that you do The Paper Palace by Miranda Cowley Heller. This is another Reese Witherspoon book club book. I think there are about 4 drownings in the book. At one stage, I remember the author using a line about a dragonfly landing on the narrator's nipple while she was floating in a pond.
Oh, yeah.
I hate this book and would love for you to review it. Great. Write in, Emily. Thank you.
Yeah, a cat is also described as porny at one point, which I thought hadn't heard before.
PORNY. Porn.
Yes.
Not
Horny.
horny.
Not
You usually
horny.
only hear that about
Horny.
horses.
Well,
Because Jonna reads some specific.
This is
I
literotica
will say
specific to
there-
Jonna, okay?
there's a pose that cats do that I refer to as porn star pose.
How would you describe it?
Yeah,
I would
please.
describe it as taking one leg, sticking it up over the cat's shoulder, over their head, extended into the air, and a vigorous little lick of the private parts.
Oh, so
get
you
them
think that's what
clean, I
that's what
assume.
the cat was doing in the book when she
I don't remember
described
the
it as
reference
porny.
in the book.
So you think porn stars lick their own.
If they could,
Okay.
they'd make a lot of films that
Sabrina's
way.
never watched porn. Is what I
Alfie had a friend with which
Joke's on you.
a dog friend with which I described their actions as pornographic, and I needed to just sort of leave the room.
Yeah.
I
All
won't
right.
go
Well,
into the details.
you know what? I take that back, Miranda. That was a great descriptor. But how did you guys read? How did you consume this novel?
Okay. Sabrina at Like an Angel sent a free YouTube audiobook. But I couldn't get into the book, and I thought it was because of the sort of robot reading it, the robotic way it was being read.
Didn't even know it was a robot.
So I tried to buy it from audiobooks.com, and they charged me twice. And I did buy it from them, but they charged me twice. So I have to get into that. And then I had it with, a professional book actor reading it. And, I still really couldn't get into it.
Wow.
So
okay.
I read it.
Okay. Well, I had a not somewhat similar journey, which is I sent the link, which I'm now learning for the first time was read by a robot. I sounded like a person to me. But I did have it on double speed, so sometimes you can't really tell. And I was really excited when I was an hour from finishing the book. I was also really excited. I was like, this book is short, 6 hours and 35 minutes. Hell yeah. And then when the YouTube video ended, I was like, it feels really crazy that
Was it
that
just
would have
part
been the last line of the book.
Part
No,
one?
it
Was
was
it
like-
just part one?
No, it was, I think it was after part 3 or something, or in like the middle of part 3. I don't specifically remember. A lot had happened, and I thought this would be a bold choice to end this book this way. And
A real
you
fuck
found
you.
out it was after finding out the big reveal. I do remember where it was in the
That
plot, and I'll
happens
talk
at the
about
end
it
of part
then.
one, I think. But
Oh,
I guess...
well, who's to say? But then I checked it out from the library. It was available on audiobook immediately. And that was a real saving grace because then I could listen at 3 times speed.
That's big. Yeah, I also did audiobook from the library. Easy. It was easy to check out. Listen to it, not at 3 times speed, but I wish I had. I wish I had. I wish I could.
Gotta.
And I like how we're not really revealing in this part how much of the book we read. We'll save that. That'll just come out as we try to talk about it.
Okay, Jana.
I got it from the library.
Hardback, audio.
Hardback, yeah.
Hardback, baby. That's all the library really does. They specialize in hard books. If you get a paperback, that's a book that's been rode hard and put away wet.
Jesus Christ. What the hell was that?
That is porny.
Mm-hmm. Like a cat. Like a horse.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Or a deer,
out of
let's not
control.
forget.
Podcast is out
The
of control.
sexiest of the animals. Absolutely.
What?
Did you just come up with it, or is this a
muscular, horned, like actual horns?
I don't know. I feel like I think of deer as kind of mangy.
Yeah, roadkill.
They have ticks on them. I
Yeah.
feel like
I
lice
don't.
a lot.
Lice.
I'm
Deer
not
lice
a deer
just
fan.
sounds like a thing to
In
me.
the way of
Deer
my
ticks.
car.
In the way of my car. It's very
You guys
cruel.
are animals.
There's a
You're
lot
the
of
animals.
deer around here. People can't have gardens.
They're sort of like the raccoons of larger woodland animals.
Oh my God, they're so cool. And imagine if you like put their hooves on an ink pad and made little stamps out of their hooves.
What?
It'd be
No,
so
I
Why
don't
would
need to.
Did that?
It's barbaric.
It's not a paw.
like cute.
It's not
They
a
won't like.
beloved
They won't
animal.
like that.
That's paw. Yeah.
Look
They have
at
to
you.
be dead for you to.
Yeah,
be
that's
able
why
to
it's
do that.
barbaric. I picture you cut off their legs and you're just taking
Pull
them
over on
I
the
love
side of the
deer.
road. Use
Well,
the
then why do
blood
you
as
have
the
a
ink.
head of one in your living room? If you love deer, if you loved something, would
Wait,
you put
really?
its severed head? Yeah, I'll take a picture and post it on our.
Listen,
Please take a
Patreon.
photo.
what? But here is the thing: that horse lived a very long life and then donated his life to science. And
is it a horse or a deer?
A
deer.
And what was Sabrina? What was the scientific findings that came from that?
Was it the deers are dirty?
Both my father and my grandfather were prolific hunters, and it was hanging above the bar that my dad had. It was his prize deer, and when he passed away, I took it and I hung it, even though some might call it barbaric.
And then from that, you decided deer are sexy.
Not from that.
So it's sort of like a childhood thing.
Yeah, you know, like how there's the boys that like their mom's shoes, and then they have a foot fetish later on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Or like Jonna with horses. Like she rode horses as a kid, and she wants to have sex with horses.
I rode horses as a kid. I think horses are also beautiful. It's just that deer, my God.
Well, it was a Freudian slip earlier when you said horse was the most beautiful. That's the real truth.
And we were never talking about beauty. It was always porniness.
I'm so sad that this is a conversation we're having now, and once we actually start talking the book, we will have no conversations like this.
I know.
Everything that happens in this book is very depressing.
Sucks
Jonna,
the joy.
Jonna, would you like to sum it up?
I would love to. Please welcome to this section called Sabrina Sums It Up, presented by Jonna. You guys can all scroll down. Your roles have been assigned.
Excellent. Oh, my name.
Oh my
God. You are such a fucking ass. She says, please note, Sabrina will play the role of Jonna. Jonna will play the role of Sarah. Sarah will play the role of Sabrina, and Clara will play herself.
I'm cool with this.
I'm so mad.
Here we go.
All right.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay. Here's my summary of the book.
Thank you, Jonna. You look nice today.
Clara, enough.
Yeah. Even though we agree with what you said, and Jonna does look nice today, enough. And please be quiet.
Wow. That was kind of unnecessarily mean. Certainly not how I, Jonna, would ever treat Clara. I imagine it's something she'll keep in her mind later when we vote for little fucker.
I could care less.
Yeah, vote for me, you piece of shit. I dare you.
Stop it, you two. Let's just get on with the summary.
Confusing.
The Paper Palace is a book about nothing. Yet everything, but mostly nothing, with about 50 pages of gratuitous incest and various other child abuses sprinkled in like disgusting raisins of hate.
But don't forget the lovely descriptions of nature.
Yes, there are some well-written sentences, I'll admit it. The book takes place in multiple locations and timelines, but mostly in a cabin on a lake in the middle of the woods by the ocean in Maine. And the author loves to say shit like, in a cabin on a lake in the middle of the woods by the ocean in Maine, which is nice.
So long as you agree that only the rich landowners who own said cabin should get to enjoy it, that nesting birds can go suck an egg, that sand dunes aren't eroding into the sea, and I assume that we should club the last 50 monk seals on Earth right into extinction.
Yeah, Elle, our main character, is a bad person. And I don't think that the author knows it. I think she thinks we're rooting for her and her destruction of piping plover nests and her affair.
And the...
Clara, please.
No! Jonna, say, let her finish.
No, you're Jonna. You say, I'm Jonna. Say, let her finish.
No, I, Jonna, say, let her finish.
I was just going to say that our recommender Emily was right. A dragonfly does land on a lady's nipple.
That's not important for the summary, Clara. How does the book end?
Okay, I have to confess something and promise you won't be mad.
I
could never be mad at you.
I'm not mad at all. I love you.
Okay. The truth is, I didn't finish the book. I'm really sorry, you guys. I know I said I could produce this episode and stuff, but I didn't finish the book.
Totally okay, and I am not mad.
Thank you, Sarah. You were the one I was most worried would be mad.
The
end.
What the hell was that?
This is so fucking weird. I just don't know how that translated for our listeners because, like, we're stumbling over it because of how you made us be other people. And it seems like it was just so that you could have me say I'm not mad at you.
Which you could have done because she would have read the scripts. If she had played herself, she could have still read the words you wrote.
I guess I guess that's true.
I guess you wanted the
You
security.
still thought I would say them in an angry way, or
yeah, maybe say them in like a sarcastic way, like I'm not mad at you.
It was so confusing. You did, and now we don't know how the book ends. You could look it up and put it in.
Okay, I did look it up.
Now I'm hot because I was.
Now I'm hot. That's your fault too, Jonna.
Well, yeah, because I was being scrutinized for not finishing the book and for not knowing what Piper Plover was.
It's okay, Jonna. No one's mad at you. We're all happy with you.
All right, so Jonna, how far did you get in the book?
I got like halfway-ish.
Oh, so you didn't even get all the incest in.
So there was definitely some incest.
Yeah, but I don't think you got it all.
Oh, you didn't
I don't think you got it all.
Oh no, there was more than. Oh no.
Oh man, Jonna, I think I'm with you. I read about half.
Okay.
And I got.
Okay, it sounds like both of you read far less than half. I just want to be clear. The way that you're saying I read half.
Yeah.
Okay, I think maybe I got to book 2. How many books are there?
They're just 2, aren't there?
Okay, so I was partway through book 2. I feel like I got a lot of incest.
I did read the whole book.
Okay,
I'd also listen to the whole book.
Well, yeah. That's real.
Okay, so I just hope that I got all the incest.
I think I
mean, you gotta hope you got to the. Well, yeah, it's surprising that there's.
I couldn't. It was such a downer, right? It's just I can't listen to something.
Nothing
so sad.
good happens in this book. I need to make that clear.
The problem with the book is it would be like, I stared up at the beautiful evening stars and thought to myself, this is the happiest I'll ever be. When suddenly I heard a tiny squeak and I realized my brother's hamster had been crushed to death under the rock that I was leaning against. The hamster died in pain. Like that is the whole book. It's just like.
No one comforts the brother. No
one comforts the brother. We move on.
A lot of people who need therapy. Nobody's getting help.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't getting the help they need.
Yes.
And nobody's helping themselves.
Nobody's helping themselves. No one's helping each other. And no one especially is helping the poor reader who is just reading along about somebody walking in the woods when suddenly they are crushed by the most horrific fact they've ever read.
I do agree that
I've read more horrific facts, but sure.
Yeah. Some of us had to read more,
but it's up there.
Things, but
it's up there.
Is there a drink pairing for this book?
There is. So I went to Henry Street Wines, and I said I wanted a book that took place in a cabin by lake in the middle of the woods. By the ocean in Maine, because I got confused. I thought we were in Maine, but we're in Cape Cod. We're in Massachusetts, but that's fine.
That's fine. The summary said Maine.
It's nice both places.
So, the proprietor, who was dressed in tweed, and a little like tweed hat and tweed jacket, sold me a $32 bottle of wine, Sabrina. So this is the most expensive.
It's gotta be good. I'm actually jealous.
Yeah, I hope you're enjoying it.
It's from the Galicia region of Spain. It's called Green Spain. And it was aged in acacia barrels, not oak barrels. So it doesn't have an oaky flavor.
Okay, what does this have to do with the book, though?
Okay, well, here's why. He said, you're going to want something that's hearty and maritime. And he gave me this. And
what is that?
How I don't get that. Why that's maritime about that?
Yeah,
like because it was on the sea in Spain.
Okay.
The drownings in the book. It's called Chan de Rosas, Couvée la Luz. Do you have this thing happen recently where every time you get wine, you learn there's some new kind of wine that you've never heard of, and it's very confusing. Like, I thought there were like 7 wines, but
there's
a
lot of
there
wines.
are like 100 wines.
I remember
I haven't bought
green wine in Portugal, but
okay. Well, this had a name I didn't even know. When I look at this bottle of wine, I can't even tell you what kind of wine it is.
Yeah, they start like mixing them and stuff. Like you think there was just like Pinot, Malbec.
Yeah,
Merlot,
exactly.
But now but that's not the case. Yeah.
Hey
this
guys,
doesn't
you know what would
say
be fun?
Chardonnay.
You guys, sometime you guys should all come to Cali and we should go on a like wine tasting.
That would be
my God.
fun. I thought you were
was
going to
laughing
tell us to
because I
talk
thought you were going
about
to say
the
we
book.
should talk about the book, but what you actually said was so much better.
Yeah.
I would love to do that.
That'd be fun.
And
right?
you know, listener, this is a great reason for you to join Patreon so we can take that trip. Got to bring the listener along.
I mean, we'll record it. We'll record it, I guess.
We'll record every night.
Yeah. We'll record every night. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm in.
Okay.
All right,
I'm
well,
in.
we'll
Let's plan it.
discuss
Maybe
this.
2025. Plan it.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that's realistic. But you know what? We'll plan it over this commercial break. We'll be right back with more about the author of the book and sadly more about the book, like I just said. BRB. Okay, and we're back. All right, Jonna, let us in. Okay. Even though you didn't read the book, you did the research, so let us know.
Inside. Okay. Miranda Cowley Heller became an author at 50, which is really cool.
That is cool.
If only she had become a good author.
Before that, she worked.
This is her first book, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So before this book, she worked in magazines and TV. She had a career as an editor at Cosmopolitan magazine. And she spent a decade as head of drama series at HBO in the early 2000s, which you might recognize as a hugely successful time at HBO.
Glory years, honestly. Wow.
Glory years. She worked on hit shows such as The Sopranos, The Wire, 6 Feet Under, Big Love, and Deadwood. And she was a ghostwriter and a screenwriting editor. So she was working on a lot of those scripts. And this is really cool and interesting. So when she started at HBO, there was no drama series department. And she wanted to basically offer the team a writer-driven experience where the creators of these shows and the writers had total freedom. She said the thinking at the time was that everybody else in Hollywood tells the writer what to do. They take over, they give 1,000 notes, and if the show fails, the writers always say that the network or the studio screwed it up. Our mandate was to give the writer a chance to rise or fall on their own sword. And they were involved in every part of the process, even down to promos. They had a say in everything. And that's basically what led to this amazing time at HBO with these shows that everybody kind of universally thinks were brilliant shows.
I love that lesson. Why hasn't anybody else heard that lesson?
I know.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was experimental when they did it. Now it's just like a proven, it worked method.
Thing that no one does.
Yeah.
I will say, if somebody had given her, like, you, writer, write this book this way, maybe we'd be having a different book situation.
That's true.
It is a
today.
little weird. It is a little weird.
Fell on her own sword a little too hard on this one.
Yeah.
And I also want to take away some of the credit for her becoming an author at 50. It's like, well, you worked and okay, you can do whatever you want after you have a resume like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's true to an extent, but I will say, like, well, we'll see, because she did have I think it was like a 6 publication house bidding war after she'd read the book. And I definitely was like, how does that happen? Right? Like that is, and also through networking and
it's a bad book. It's unpleasant to read and really so.
But the descriptions
I could
of
see
nature.
this playing out as a drama series a little better than it plays out as a
well,
book.
you and HBO both, Sabrina, because it's being adapted into an HBO drama series, if you can even believe it.
Oh,
and she will be writing the screenplay.
A disappointing ending.
It's going to be really
I don't know how it ended.
series.
I'm probably going to watch it.
Because they're going to do a great job with it, and there's a lot of They might cut some of the tragedy out, if I'm being honest.
I hope they cut out that hamster death that I told you about, because that was real, and I didn't care for it.
I hope that they tell, don't show on a lot of the incest.
Yeah.
I would like someone to recount.
I would say don't even tell.
I would say I would say context. Some of it not necessary. Some of it not necessary.
Deeply not necessary.
It was like a depressing book before the incest stuff really picked up.
There is no before the incest. Incest starts with stepfather
really early.
And the kids, like
talking about her mom. Yeah, like
the first time my mom choked down a dick was on her 9th birthday.
Yeah, it was literally.
Oh, I don't remember this part. Must not have been blocked it out, I guess.
Paraphrase.
It was disturbing. And I was listening to that out loud, and my child was in the room, and I was like, oh, okay, I can't. This isn't a book I can listen out loud to.
And that says a lot, because the Mean Book Club books in general are sort of nasty and bad.
This one was another level for me. Yeah, certainly. Mm-hmm. Okay, so HBO's doing this, but this book was a New York Times bestseller
an instant bestseller.
How do you know when?
It was an instant bestseller and sold over 1 million copies.
When was it published?
Yeah, so it was published in 2021.
Oh,
okay, so you don't have them.
Well, in 2021, it was an instant bestseller.
Okay. All right,
that's a lot of information.
We don't know what list.
The New York Times bestseller list.
Oh my god, we know there's so many
hardback.
Okay,
all right, let's just move on.
Read hard and put away.
I want to tell you a little bit more about this book. These are some quotes from Miranda. It came out in lockdown. This is a quote from the author. Came out in lockdown, so my whole book tour happened on Zoom. It was exhausting because I was on Cape Cod, where the book is set, and it was hot.
It's interesting. You would think a real book tour might be a little more exhausting.
I wonder.
Or just be in a room with air conditioning. I'm sure it would help solve that.
Stop going outside so much.
She said, I will say, she did say that she had to be locked in this little cabin because it was the only room that had Wi-Fi. But, I think a real book tour is probably harder than doing your book tour over Zoom and being hot.
Yeah.
Is my feeling. She comes from a family of writers and novelists. And she said she's always loved storytelling. And you're not going to believe this, but she said, I had no idea what the book was going to be. From one day to the next, I had no outline, no plot, no nothing.
That adds up. Yeah, certainly that adds up from what I
hate
read.
that we keep having to read things that people didn't even put the effort in to plot it. It's like, I shouldn't have to.
Oh, that's why so much happens that was unnecessary and irrelevant.
I am too intelligent to waste my time reading somebody's meandering fiction journal.
Are we though? Because we keep doing
it for years now.
I'm just desperate for friendship.
That's true. She said she's unsure how it would be received. So when it went to a 9-way publishing auction, she was taken aback, to say the least. It was unbelievable. The whole thing happened within 2 weeks in both countries, the UK and the US. Having spent so much of my life thinking, am I ever going to do this? Then actually writing it, I put it out there thinking, well, I don't know if anyone else will get it. So to sell it was a dream come true. To wait this long, to be in my 50s and finally have done this, there's so much meaning attached to it for me. And I do think that's pretty cool. I do think to be in your 50s, publish your first book. And I think yes, she's always been in this really cool creative position, a woman of power for sure, like a woman of means, but in her heart, she always wanted to create something herself, and she did it. And I think that's pretty great.
I think that a lot of retired people might enjoy writing a short story or even writing a novel, but you don't have to subject others to it. Maybe your family, but by taking the extra step of publishing it
the bidding war is definitely just because she had so much cachet.
Oh,
Yeah.
because of the book.
And what is this family of novelists? We're supposed to ignore that?
Oh, yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Which maybe helped with the cachet to begin with.
Yeah, because something had to. Because we know it's not a meritocracy. Because I don't have a show.
Damn. Well, we have this show, Clara.
That's true. And I feel like I wanted to say we, but it would be funnier to say I. But I really feel like we should have a show by now. Yeah. Okay.
All right, guys. This book is a book. Characters. There's the main character who've mentioned before, Elle. She's a fucking cheater. But so we start out and she fucking cheats on her husband, and then you're supposed to just be like, oh, I guess now we're going to go back in time to
that's how we kick it off.
We're supposed to, I guess, we don't like her, but we're supposed to be like, oh, but this will help us understand why she's in this situation. And so
we have to go all the way back to her birth.
And we have to go through her entire life.
Her mother's birth.
You're right. Her mother. We have to go back generations to hear the story of her parent, like her grandmother.
And guess what? It's depressing.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, if someone cheated on me and then they're like, wait, you don't understand. And then they started talking about their grandmother's second husband. And I'd be like, I'm going to stop you right there. Okay. Yeah. You cheated because she had a good body and you were excited about that. Let's be honest. It has nothing to do with your grandmother.
Yeah. It was.
And I think it's creepy that you're bringing her into this.
Yeah. Agreed.
It was like divorce is part of our family. You have women had to marry because they couldn't support themselves back then. And then the men could just leave them. It's like, cool, fun to read about. Awesome. I hate this. Stop watching Mad Men for the same fucking reason.
It wasn't relevant to her situation because she had like a wonderful husband who did literally nothing wrong. His name is Peter. He was British.
I had a really fun bad thing that I thought we were going to find out about him. In my mind, because like everything that happened in the book was terrible, but then that didn't happen. I thought that I can just reveal it because it didn't happen.
So a spoiler.
Not a spoiler. I thought we were going to find out that the husband and Elle's mom were sleeping together, or at least had slept together.
Because they were kind of flirty energy.
Yeah, they had like a weird little relationship. And when he first met her, he was like, you describe your mom so differently. You didn't mention how beautiful she was. Why would you say that? That's a weird thing to say.
This thing is just a sucky up thing to say. I think he was just kind of a suck up to the mom. And then
yeah, but she wasn't there when he said it.
Your guys' moms do a thing where they're like really nice to your partner just to kind of like show you that they can be nice and choose not to be nice to you.
No, I don't
think so. So you really related to this. You really related to Ellen in this.
The mom. Yeah.
That's very funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so
Matt will
funny.
be like, hi Veda, and my mom will be like, he is such a good dad. And like he is, but that's not an example of that.
That's so good.
That is really funny. Yeah, I mean, I believe it as her character. Like, obviously, her mom we heard about so many step parents, and I could have seen her mom hitting on him, but he just seemed like he was a nice guy who just like was good at diffusing situations, and
maybe kind of a
nice.
Bit of a doormat as he gets cheated on while he's being nice to her, but that's not really his fault now, is it?
Yeah.
So,
but he also seemed like was also portrayed as like manly at different parts and like stood up for her against like somebody who was like broken into their apartment and trying to steal. Like I don't know, it was just like he just seemed like pretty perfect to me, and I was okay.
I'm gonna say he did not stand up for her at a pretty important moment in the book. Okay. And it's when her teenage son called her a bitch. And
he goes back on it.
But he goes back. He talks to her. He talks to the son later and makes the son come up and apologize. So I think
I know, but if my teenage son called me a bitch and then my husband said, you make a great point, Peter calls back laughing.
You'd cheat on him. But also she's already cheated.
She was
on him
being a bitch
point.
though. Like she was being a bitch.
She was being a bitch. And contrasting it with her own childhood. Like her own childhood was just a bunch of, I mean, at the base level, it was neglect. At the worst, it was like step sibling incest and stuff like that. But like I think at that point we had just seen her childhood with neglect kind of. And it's like, oh, you didn't learn. You're just going to be a shitty mom and be a bitchy mom now. Cool. It's like, I don't know. It would have been.
Yeah. How else do we learn, right?
Seemed like she didn't learn.
Yeah. She just, again, nobody went to therapy again in this book. But okay, so you have Elle and Peter is the husband, and she immediately cheats on. The beginning of the book opens with her talking about how she cheated. She took her underwear off, put it in the bread box, and then
Which I don't think you need to take your underwear off to cheat on somebody. I think it'd be okay to like slide them down there in the moment.
Or
it feels weird to be
side.
Like, yeah, it fees weird to be like, I better take my underwear off in case I cheat tonight.
And to put them in the bread box? I mean, just
that's
like
gross.
Put them in your pocket. I don't know. Don't put them somewhere not findable, or
maybe put them back on after.
Yeah, it's a lot of series of things. But Jonas, who was first we think is just like an old family friend. Jonas is married to Gina. Jade. Yeah, Jane. Jade. Anyway,
who seems like generally
A and G, I think.
Good, lovely person, normal, but everyone in the book kind of hates her because they're like, but Jonas is so beautiful. He could have been a old Hollywood classic movie star, and he chose Gina. It's like, he seems fine.
Yeah, but and then we're like, so I guess then we find out eventually that Jonas and Elle are old. They were friends from way back when. They've known each other for a very long time, which also first made it more confusing to me because I was like, to just like randomly fuck an old family like it makes more sense to be like somebody you just met that you have like a super attraction to, like to have a super attraction to someone you've known for so long. But I guess that was part of the story. I don't know.
Yeah, well, in the movie Step Brothers, I feel like there's an instance of cheating with an old family.
Sorry,
friend,
the movie,
no?
the Will Ferrell,
yes,
comedy.
So there's a precedent.
He and
okay,
John C. Reilly become stepbrothers in their 40s.
Yeah,
okay,
Catherine Hahn's character has sex with one of the stepbrothers, I think.
Okay, well there you have it. There's a precedent.
Okay, well, and in some ways,
historical.
Yeah, there was something
Dale,
that happened.
is it Dale that she has
Catherine
sex with?
Hahn has sex with Dale in that movie.
I don't
Who
remember.
does she have sex with in the bathroom?
I don't think I've ever seen that, to be honest.
Hahn.
Oh, you might like it, Sarah.
Okay.
Bathroom stepbrothers sex.
Anyway.
Yeah, let's move on.
John C. Reilly, yeah, that's Dale, right?
Elle and Jonas, they have sex while like everyone's eating dinner. They like go out back and fuck by the trash cans, come back in. Oh my God, so naughty. Then the next day they go to the beach and she's like, oh, a little regretful. Should I have done that?
So naughty.
And then Jonas, while everyone's swimming, Jonas with his sandy fingers her.
Oh my God.
Like under a towel.
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
In the tent.
It was way too public.
Have you guys ever had sex on a beach?
No.
I wouldn't. You know what? No. I mean, I've made out on the beach, but to have sex on the beach?
Sabrina, it went okay?
I mean, it was sandy.
Yeah,
There's a towel involved. Also, it felt like I don't know. The whole time you're like, is somebody around?
Some people like that, I guess.
It seemed like, she seemed to like it, and the people who were most around were her children, which is like,
yeah. That's another level of like, I don't.
Two of you didn't answer.
That.
I said no.
I think I've had sex in the ocean.
That's also dirty.
With some sort of horse, seahorse.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's like a fun, but then you're just like, am I just pushing seawater up into my vagina?
Yeah,
good.
Yeah,
you certainly both got sick after that. Yeah,
yeah. It can't be good. But anyway, and so then she's like, and so then I guess you're finding Jonas wants her to leave her.
Oh yeah, Jonas is all in. Not the classic cheating scenario that you get at all, where the like usually the married man's like, I love you, I'm gonna leave my wife, but they're not going to. I fully believe that Jonas would have killed Gina.
Yeah, I believe you.
Who again did nothing wrong except
Jonas,
be his wife.
Not be Elle, I guess, who we're supposed to really love.
Again,
for example,
yeah.
After he fingers her in the sand, he draws a heart that says, I only love you.
It's so fucking childish.
His wife is there. His wife is it's like a beach picnic with both families. So the wife thinks it's for her, but this nasty man wrote it as a secret message.
Weird.
It's like, that's not that meaningful for the woman you're fucking, but it's like really mean.
It's so fucking mean. And I also just like, why is everyone is so obsessed with Elle? Like, not only is she raped
can
bunch,
I
but like
focus
everyone is
on that a little bit more?
Okay, sure.
Because imagine if your husband wrote "Only love you," wouldn't you be like, why the fuck do you need to say that? It feels as though there is somebody else I should be concerned about. Like,
or there was until 5 minutes ago.
Right. If Meg all of a sudden was like, I need you to know that I only love you. I'd be like, I had been under that impression for years. I don't think you need to tell me this. So maybe Gina does suck and deserves everything.
Gina's reaction
That's what
was
you
like,
take away from that?
Her reaction was like, I think that's so cute. Oh, Jonas, let's put seashells on.
Well, she's
writing.
like obsessed with Jonas in a way that makes her not see his flaws, it seems like.
Well, everyone kind of is. No one's obsessed with hot British Peter.
This is what doesn't make sense. You had like, there were positive characters. They're like, this character is great. But the two, Jonas was like fine, but Elle was so horrible. And then like the only thing that was supposed to, I guess, make us like her was the fact that she was like sexually abused so many times.
Which
that's
like,
tough. That's tough.
I just need a message to all of our Meme Book Club authors. I can have empathy for a character that has not been raped in some way. Like I still can find it in my heart to be like, oh, cool. What an interesting person. And I feel things, even though they did something bad, I can still have empathy for them.
I will add the fact that they were raped does not justify all negative or mean actions they take after that point. Like, it doesn't make me be like, well,
it mitigates.
They get a free pass.
For sure.
Yeah,
it
go hit somebody.
And it gives you some context. And I think that's really important. But
mitigates.
Here, well, I think it does. But like,
it just
you
makes
have
me
to
feel
have
worse.
something to mitigate. Like, I don't have anything that Elle's doing that is good. I'm not like, okay, well, she's doing that shitty thing. And I get it because her background, but like she has all these other good qualities. We don't have examples of that. Like there's not
qualities.
a reason
not for
that
a
we're
second.
to like
She's
her.
like bitchy to her kids. She's bitchy to her mom. And then to us,
her
she's
mom
just
is
droning.
the biggest cunt of them all, though.
Yeah,
it's true, but it's just like she's so petty with her mom. She's like, I want her to go outside, but instead she says, I'm warming up my coffee. She's like, that's not enough to hate someone.
She's clearly becoming her mother. That is also part
that's
of
true.
It. You're like,
I also got really turned off by the privilege of this character. And I do feel like look, you can write an unlikable main character. That's cool. That's fine to do. But it felt like it was coming from the narrator. But there were little comments like, we have these properties on the lakes and people that come in vacation here try to swim to our side of the lake. They think they've discovered some idyllic spot, but we own it and they shouldn't be here. And it's just like, to be honest, I don't really think anyone should own like shoreline property of anything. Like, I feel like that is like public space that anyone should be allowed to use.
It's like a little hard to get on the bandwagon with because it's like, well, you know what I relate to? The other people.
Vacationer.
Yeah.
And it's just, it feels like the author didn't have the insight to know that that was like maybe a little bit of a privileged position to be coming from.
Like the only people that can actually like do that and get away are like if they were like American Indian, like a native like area, and they're like been here, and you know what I mean? Like, can you just be like a white person who's rich and gets own cabins in a fancy area and make it, I don't know, supposed to feel
it's
bad
also
that
hard
tourists.
Yeah. It's also hard for me to be like, oh, the scene of my incestual rape. I'm going to take my kids here every summer. It's a magic place. Okay. It's our magic place.
Should we get them?
And also where I watched my baby sister, well, they say drowned in the book, but then she's revived, but they say she drowns. That's not drowning if you live afterwards. Okay.
Yeah.
But
it's like, it was her sister's friend, right?
Be, no,
it was
Peggy.
Sister.
It was her little sister, Peggy. I thought it was little sister.
Yeah, sorry, my bad.
But again, it's just like there's so much trauma in this place.
Oh no, you're right. You have to die.
Yeah, you can nearly drown.
Yeah,
but it's
I thought maybe it was like overdosing. Well, I guess maybe it could be. You could die.
Well, I think that was from her perspective as a little girl, that she thought that her sister had died, but I'm sure her sister had not actually died.
Well, no, she says it in the present tense. She says, when it was where my sister drowned. Yeah. But then she says her mom pulled her out and revived her.
Yeah. Right.
But then we never hear about Peggy again. That's why we
never hear about Peggy again.
Family friend.
Okay, so that doesn't make sense.
Peggy's been taxidermied and stuff.
Are you sure this was Peggy?
It was definitely Peggy.
I thought it was.
I don't even remember
her
Peggy.
older sister's friend.
Okay, because it was probably her older sister's friend. Sure.
And then she
didn't
die.
But Elle used to swim with.
That's what's described as. It's a little baby sister. Because she has chicken pox and her mom's like, oh, I don't want it to spread to Peggy. That's the last thing I need.
Right. Because it's like some other person's kid. I think you want a baby to get chicken pox. Right? I don't know.
I mean, I think so. In those day and ages.
It's whatever I'm reading
measles.
Did you get the shot? Or have you just never had chicken pox?
Never had chicken pox.
And you don't have a vaccine? Okay, yeah. I was like a year too old for the vaccine. Anyway.
Yeah, I was a little too old for the vaccine, so I had to get it too.
Wait, I think I have the vaccine. I am a year younger than both of you.
Famously.
Yeah, we know.
I don't want to talk about it. My birthday's coming up.
I know.
Everyone get ready. Maybe we can do a Jackbox game or something.
1995. I probably did not get the shot.
So you're just walking out in the world. You could come down with chickenpox at any moment.
Well, it's not chickenpox anymore. When you're older, it's
scabies or something. Shingles.
Even if you've never had it, it's still shingles. I thought that was only if it's reactivated.
I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know. How old can you be?
If you're coming to this podcast for facts, you're not going to get them here.
If you're coming for book talk, you'll get it soon, I'm sure.
And 15 months old. That's when you get the chickenpox vaccine.
Oh, so it would be shingles.
I definitely did not get it. It came out in 1995.
Oh, well.
All right.
Why don't you see if you can get it now?
I would check with your doctor.
Why don't you call your doctor immediately?
Yeah.
Anyway.
This is actually really concerning, Sabrina. Actually, it really is.
I had chickenpox.
But
it's crazy that I did have the measles.
That is also crazy.
Yeah.
Isn't that something that also has a vaccine you're supposed to get?
Yeah.
I learned that from the TV show.
Other vaccines?
Yes. I was vaccinated.
Fair question. Oh no. Okay. So this goddamn book. So we go back in time to learn about the past of Elle.
And her mother's traumas and Elle's traumas and blah, blah, blah.
And
blah.
There's a lot of her mother had a stepfather who was abused her, and that was disturbing to read. But then the mom seems to hate women for some reason, I guess because her mom didn't believe her when she told her or something like that, right?
Yes.
Yes.
She just she even walks in on her with the stepdad. I don't want to get into graphic details, and the mom slaps the daughter. It's just so awful.
Yeah.
It's beyond anything you can even imagine.
And it's not fun, and it doesn't, like we're saying, it doesn't really attach to the current person that much.
I guess it's okay she's a bitch because this happened. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
But then it's so much trauma for shock value's sake, and that's the only reason.
I felt like perhaps the reason they were going over everyone of my parents have been divorced a million times and had so many marriages was like would play more into her reasoning for not getting divorced, but it never was stated. Then I don't know, like it never really
right.
came
It was
back.
never like, I know how hard it is on kids, so I'm not going to do it. That was never state. I don't know if that's how she feels at all. I also, it's sort of implied that there's a time when she didn't totally suck, that Peter loved her and she played with her kids and stuff, but we don't, but
I don't see
that's
that time.
loosely implied. It's like, if she was constantly like this irritating, I don't understand why Peter would ever even want to be with her, or Jonas.
Alone, a second man, yeah.
I love lead characters that everyone wants to fuck, but you're like, why? I love it.
Yeah.
Yes. Gives me hope. Let's take a
I
quick
actually
commercial
don't know
break.
anything. Okay.
Yes.
Anything
No,
about
no.
her that you like?
That would make me want to have sex with her. Yeah.
No, that's true. And I need a
Well,
main
full
character
bush.
that I want to fuck, or else I'm out of
Yeah.
the book.
We know about her full bush. We'll be right back after this commercial break. And we're back. Okay, so among the many, many stepfathers this main character Elle has, he's one that ends up with a stepbrother, Conrad, who is creepy, and she's like, you know, a preteen, early teenager, and he's like at the beach with them, staring at her boobies, creepy the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And
He's
then
the one that had the hamster die too, and he kept a
Yeah.
pet snake, I believe.
Yeah,
Well.
I think that was a
Just
different kid. I think that was Frank.
Different stepbrother.
Yeah,
it's possible. There were a lot. Anyway,
different one. Yeah,
The steps are all bad. Anytime a step is introduced in the book, watch out. Someone's going to die or
smushed.
get entered.
Yeah, yeah, and Conrad is sad because his mom does not like him, so he can't live with his mom. He has to live with his dad, so he has to live with Elle and Anna. And
Anna's her older sister.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. She sucks.
Doesn't matter. She dies. Doesn't matter.
She dies like Peggy.
Oh yeah, later
Anna
she
dies. I didn't know.
Yep. Okay.
How does she die?
Like, was it ovarian cancer or some sort of cancer? No.
So she's old.
Yeah. The big O.
Not like that old, like in her 30s. She was pretty
because
young for that.
She had to hit the trifecta of
I just feel like she didn't have anything else to do with the character. She was like, well, I don't have anything else to do with her. I'll just kill her. Anyway.
Kill her off with cancer. Sure.
Anyway.
Wait, I want to give context to the big O so that I don't just sound insensitive. It's just the quote from the book. It's when Anna tells our main character, Elle. She says, I got the big O. And Anna is like, that means orgasm, you dumb bitch.
And then she's like, wait, you have cancer. Oopsie.
You're dying.
Yeah, I think it's in parlance the big C.
But to go, I've quite honestly lost it. Oh, okay. I'm telling you about what happened with the fucking Conrad.
I'm sorry.
The stepbrother.
Sorry.
Conrad.
No. Yeah. So basically, Conrad. It's creepy. Elle is like a little nice to him compared to Anna, and he starts coming in at night and like masturbating on her, and she pretends that she'd be asleep and not know because she thinks it doesn't want to be awkward at the dinner table.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to, she thinks her mom really likes Leo, who is the stepfather, and doesn't want to mess up the relationship by telling her. I'm sure that this is a way some people I'm sure that is a logic people apply, but it was frustrating because of how long it happened.
Yeah, it was really frustrating to read. Like, he's coming on her maybe not every night, but he's masturbating around her every night, and she's not telling
feeling her up and stuff.
Yeah, parents who could stop it, she's not trying to stop it. She's just pretending to be asleep. And again, yes, I'm sure that they're are situations where this causes like shame. You're young. I'm not saying it's shameful. I'm saying like, a young person might
wrongfully
feel shame
somehow.
or guilty. And so you don't want to tell, but like, we're not exploring those emotions. Like she just doesn't tell. She like almost tells, but then they come home. And so she just doesn't tell. And it's very unfulfilling justification, as to why she isn't fighting it at all. And it just feels like lazy writing where like I'm meeting the author more than halfway to say like that could be like that. Yes, that could be a reaction that someone has. But you're not giving that to me.
It seems like it's the character for that to be, it has to be a lot more of like a pass. I mean, she was a do-gooder, I guess, in some ways, but just like a much more passive character than I thought she was portrayed to be at that point. But anyway,
I think like it can be a really that can absolutely be a real experience. And like, just to build on what Clara was saying is like, I think sometimes wrongly in life, people would look at somebody who reacts that way and be like, I just don't understand why that is their reaction. Like, that would never be my reaction. But I think like this is a book. So we like with a real person, you may never know what's going on in their mind because they're not going to tell you the truth. But in a book, the author could tell you what is happening with that character and what is going through the back of their head. Like, and this could have been like a really good opportunity to explore those kind of thoughts and like kind of educate people on why people have that kind of response. Instead, like it kind of in a way perpetuates the like this is a ridiculous response aspect to it. Like you find out that she has a lock on her door that she's not using, and like we don't explore why she isn't just like locking the door or anything.
Then she
like
starts to lock the door and he just figures out a way to unlock it.
And I missed that. I was But like we could have learned so much more, and it could have been such a good opportunity for the audience who maybe like, doesn't understand like trauma response and things like that.
We're in her head.
But we passed that opportunity. We're like
like do some research and give me the psychological impact. Like could be interesting, but
I think at first it didn't bother me as much. Like I was fine to go along with it. I just think because it went on for so long and then like she continued to not tell anybody except eventually Jonas. But anyway, the stepbrother Conrad threatens to put a baby in her, so she goes and still doesn't tell any of her parents. She sneaks to Planned Parenthood, puts herself on birth control just in case she gets raped. Like that's so insane. Like to be like, I'm going on birth control because I think my stepbrother might rape me. Like, not that like I won't tell anyone.
Is that how you explained it to the doctor? Because the doctor could tell someone.
So wild. And then she was right because he does, like leave her alone and then go stay with his mom for a little bit, and then he comes back. But then they go to the camp, and it was so upsetting to set up because it was like her older sister's not there, so she has her cabin all to herself, and it's like, oh Jesus Christ! And then he's immediately there, and rapes her, but she won't tell anyone. Again, I still don't. I think it was just the justification of I don't want to upset my mom.
Yeah, or maybe some like it feels dirty and like some guilt or something.
I have a question. Does Elle know? This is probably just because I wasn't paying enough attention. Does Elle know, and how, if so, how does Elle know about her mom's rape? Like
she does know. It's introduced at some point. She knows because
she tells us. Which makes sense. She's the one.
Well, no. But we know because she says something like, when my mom told me that her stepfather did this, she was like something. It was so weird. It was something about like we were talking about how it wasn't fair that Anne got this and I didn't. And then she says something like, well, you some things aren't fair. My brother only had to masturbate him, but I had to blow him.
Yeah, that is.
It's like, what the fuck? But I don't know when that happened in the timeline, but it was really fucked up.
Yeah,
anyway.
I forgot about that.
That was in the first half of the book. I don't remember.
Yes, it was in the first half of the book.
The mom sucks too.
Yeah, the stepfathers. I'm sorry.
Oh, Sarah. Bad.
I'm sorry.
We can edit it out.
No, it's fine. Keep going. This is my trauma response. Go ahead.
One of, I think, the worst things that Elle, our main character, does is she tries to tell the mom that Conrad raped her. But mom misunderstands and thinks that Leo, the mom's husband, raped her. And she
doesn't correct it. Yeah.
She doesn't correct it for years. She just lets
wild.
I mean, like, he left for separate reasons, but like she just lets her mom think that her mom brought in the same way that her mom had brought in a stepdad to rape her and her brother. She lets her think that like that happened and that Leo is a rapist.
I thought that was
like
fucked
let
up
her
too.
mom think that Leo was a rapist when he wasn't at all.
I thought that was fucked up. I thought that was really fucked up. And I guess it comes back towards the end because she finally, like, one of the last things she does is be like, "Oh yeah, I told you that." Nah, wasn't him. It was Conrad.
Yeah. Oh, did I lead you to that understanding? I'm so sorry.
But
that
the other thing you need to
wires
understand
got
about
crossed.
in this, the big, I guess, twist, or when something happened finally in this, that wasn't just like repeatedly here reading about, sexual abuse, was when she finally she tells Jonas, and then they go on a stormy day, go on a boat with Conrad, who we know can't swim very well, and they basically knock him off the boat and he drowns. Like, they very much murder him. And
they do not throw him a life preserver.
I didn't read this part of the book.
You didn't make it to here? My God.
No. I think I was close.
Jonna
They're
also
learning how
not
to
make it
sail.
there. Oh, that's why Jonna's not a along.
No, I made it.
I was at the part where they're learning how to do the boat.
Okay. Well, anyway, he's dead, and then it's like that leads to Leo eventually leaving the mom, and then also, my God, I forgot about this. The mom is pregnant with Leo's baby, but Leo leaves, and then she has a stillborn child, and Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah.
It's just more horrible stuff that
she describes that as the child drowning.
Yeah, that's another drowning you get if we like the theme of drownings. That was another drowning. But it's a whole thing because they think they blame her, but like, blame her as in like, oh, we wish you could have saved him, but like, they think he drowned. He drowned because he couldn't swim and it was stormy. Like, it wasn't like anybody
Were
ever
they
thought.
pissed at her for taking him out when it was stormy?
Well, it was like the dad's idea, so it wasn't like.
Okay.
But anyway, but it still tears the family apart. So that Leo, they get divorced or whatever, and then the whole thing with her and Jonas is now they're like in love with each other, but it's weird, I guess, because they did a murder together.
Seems like that should bond you closer. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think it did. It does in some ways, but he
That's
doesn't
what it did
come
for
back.
Tyra and Jesse Plemons and.
He goes to like a camp and doesn't come back for summers, so they are apart until she runs into him in New York sometime in the future. But at that point, she is dating Peter, who she met in graduate school in London.
Guess how she met Peter, everybody? Somebody was trying to mug and assault her.
Yeah.
And she what's his name? Jonas had given her this ring after they murdered Conrad.
A murder ring.
Inside the ring it was inscribed, "We
this
murdered
mugger
Conrad."
tried to he's like, wallet, keys, phone, ring, and she was like, you can't have this little piece of shit ring. And then this random guy fought off her mugger because she only experiences tragedy. That's the only way new people can be introduced into her life, and the guy who fought off the mugger was Peter.
Yes, and so they end up together, and he's the first person that she's had sex with other than being raped, but she does not
So she was
tell
never
him.
together with Jonas.
They never had sex. No, when they had sex is when the beginning of the book happens, which is like in her
because
50s.
I feel like that when early in the affair they keep alluding to like, I let you go. I guess that they're referencing.
Well, it's because there are a few times.
Also, they
I
were
guess
children.
There are a few times when she's with Peter that they all live in New York, and they have a few like, oh, you're mine, like you can't be engaged to him, you're engaged to me, and then she's like, no, I'm engaged to him, and then like one other time where she's supposed to be with Peter and her parents, and she pretends to be sick so she can go talk to Jonas, and they drink beer and look at birds or some shit. But nothing happens really.
Okay. Yeah, sounds like
they kiss maybe.
Talking about the first time they had sex reminded me that the author found a way to ruin lakes for me forever after they have sex, she goes and swims in the lake to like wash out her vagina of the sex. And then she says she's swimming and she's like, every time I'm in a lake, I think about how there are turtles in here that might come up and snatch off my heavy
She's
breast.
got some nice titties.
And so what it tells us is number one, nice titties. B, number two, now I'm afraid that a sea turtle is going to come up and snatch off my heavy breast.
She's so appealing that even turtles want to assault her.
That's so true. Anyway, so I would say the big or the next big, I guess, revelation that happens in the book. This is for John and Claire because you don't know.
Thank you. I don't know.
Is
okay. Thank you.
She and Peter go to Memphis, which is where Conrad's family was from and where he's buried, and she like goes to his grave and is like, I'm sorry, you didn't deserve to be murdered, my bad. And then she goes to see Conrad's sister.
Oh my god, Rosemary. Did they jokingly call her Sage at one point early in the book, or was there a character also named Sage, and did she drown?
I don't know. Oh, there was.
I think
there was another. There's an old man that drowns.
An old man who drowned,
and she tries to save him, but he's dead already.
Peter's like, "You're such a good person."
Yeah, he's like, "You would never cheat or murder. You try to save someone's life."
Tragedy.
Anyway, she goes to see Rosemary, and she's basically, I don't know what the fuck she's looking for, but Rosemary's like, I was so happy when he died. And she was like, don't you know
the way
why?
She said it was, I wish I could have been there to see it. And Elle was like, do you? And she was like, yeah, you know why.
And so apparently Conrad also was doing not just step incest, but incest with his sister. But also, weirdly enough, it wasn't just enough, it was also incest. She was like, he would call me your name.
You're the one he really liked.
You're the most special victim.
What's really crazy is that Rosemary was like, because Conrad had moved home for a summer, and that's when it happened. And he, like, the way she described it, fully raped her every night, calling her Elle. Why?
Seems like maybe some parents could be aware of something. I just don't let every parent had headphones really on starting at 7 p.m.
I mean, that's what I wanted.
Well, anyway, and so she,
but it's hard to get that level of
this Rosemary thing feeling like she's absolution, like, oh, actually, I've been feeling guilt about this murder I did. And Jonas and I, it's been weird, but now I feel great about it because she told me it was.
I'm like Batman.
Yeah, and then she tells Jonas, and I'm guessing that then they both, for some reason, this absolution makes them be like, oh, well, then let's fuck each other. That's what it seems like happened, but I don't quite understand. that journey, but it seems like that is the journey that is
just a sort of celebration. I imagine. Again, I didn't read this part.
That could turn you on?
Like,
okay.
Well, I mean, hypothetically, I could see you have this thing that for decades you've been carrying around of like, I'm a terrible person, I'm a murderer, and you kind of like, you probably like start to think like, maybe he wasn't even doing anything bad, like maybe I was inviting it, whatever. And then you find out, no, he was very bad. I am not a murderer, I'm a superhero. That's hot.
Okay. All right. Well, that superhero wanted to cheat on her husband with the other superhero, I guess. And then she's like, we're back to the present. They're in Cape Cod, and Jonas is like, leave Peter. And then she's like, nah, I'm good. And Peter almost catches them, but like only she catches her kissing a boo-boo on Jonas's hand.
Oh my God.
So she's totally able to be like,
crazy.
I was just kissing his boo-boo. We're like brother and sister. That's gross.
He's like, I saw you and Jonas, and she is just doing mental gymnastics.
Which,
she's like,
when we fucked here, when we fucked there,
right. And she was like, was it when my head was slammed against the concrete and he was eating an ice cream sundae and I could see him? No, wasn't that. And it was literally when she was kissing his boo-boo, which like is a really weird thing to do.
Yeah.
It's almost worse than if he saw them fucking.
Yeah, and then
I don't like it.
I don't know.
Goes,
it's just gross.
And then it ends. She like goes into the pond again. She's like bathing in Jonas's essence or some shit. So I don't even understand how it ended. I guess she just stays with Peter. She chooses Peter, and it's like that's the end.
So the author talks about the ending, and she says that she thought it was so clear cut, and then after the book came out, everyone was so angry because there was no ending. And they said, like, well, what happens? Who does she stay with? And the author says, like, I guess depending on how you put the emphasis, it could change your interpretation of
it. So she won't answer.
I think it's pretty clear she stays with Peter, but it's just weird because there's not a resolution of him finding out. She just keeps lying, gets away with it.
Yeah, it seems like
she just get nothing. It's like as though nothing changed the entire book, and that's what the ending was. And it feels like that's not an ending, but I do think that was the ending.
Just from what I've read, which isn't the ending, it seems like she stayed with Peter but continued fucking Jonas.
I think she and Jonas do cut it off. It seems like they cut it off.
Yeah, that's gonna last.
Yeah, but like Jonas wants her, like, because Jonas wants her to leave Peter, and she's not going to do that. So I think that's why
I see.
It ends.
So he's like, fine.
Peter starts fucking her mom, which I do think is in the cards for those two.
It could still happen.
And keep in mind, Peter's a smoker. So how long does he really
Yucky.
have?
That was his one really bad quality, I would say.
So
but also a little cool.
We really got to read someone's genealogy report, a very disturbing genealogy report, and then be at the end be like, why did I read that? Why did I have to read that? That's what it felt like for me.
Can I say one thing in the book's defense? Okay. I found the writing a little bit compelling. I think this was not a poorly written book. I was thinking about this.
I think the writing is fine. I had no joy whatsoever reading it. And
yes, that's true.
Like, it didn't move me in any way either. I wasn't like,
yes. And you know what? Yeah. It also didn't ring true. You know how like sometimes you read stuff like Jeanette Wall's The Glass Castle, Half Broke Horses. Those are like
I mean, we can't really take you seriously if it's about horses.
Horse story. Okay, but they are. They are probably as disturbing as this book is, but you read it and it just rings true. Like it just hits you and you're like, that's right. And there are little moments that are really poignant. And like one of the moments that I remember standing out was that as a child, she always thought that like, color was so interesting. And like the way she saw stuff, she was kind of an artist. And then when she was like way too old, gets glasses and she realizes that she like had a huge vision problem and she just never saw things clearly. And then all of the things like her art wasn't as good as she thought it was. But it's one of those things where like, when you unpack it,
that's funny.
Get her glasses at the right time. Okay, Sarah, you are so disturbed.
Somebody who's
okay,
like,
it's sad. It's heartbreaking.
Thinking they drew some good picture, but it's just like you're like, oh, good job, Jenny.
Sarah, it is so fucked up that you think this is funny. It's so messed up. It's one of the like saddest little anecdotes in the whole book.
Jenna, I don't need another sad anecdote. Cut it out.
That's a funny anecdote.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Sarah. Book? I'm going to choose to do it Sarah's way.
That sets up a good comparison, I think, like with this book, every sentence, maybe every paragraph written fine, but that doesn't mean that all comes together in a good book.
Right. She didn't have
sounds
grammar
like you're sad
issues.
Yeah,
like okay, you are a competent writer. I don't feel like you could probably be a great grant writer or something, you know, like you're not.
I just needed
put
body
sentences together, but not in a narrative, not in a storytelling way.
I think this will play well as an HBO drama series. I really do, because we'll get a lot of visual.
Yeah,
we'll get a lot of like
music. I think
that will help make it sound dramatic.
But it's not something I would choose to watch ever.
I think they'll change stuff. I mean, I always just think they have the benefit of reading it and being like, okay, well, this didn't work. Let's actually make her maybe cut some of this abuse out. Maybe don't need this much abuse, you know? We have enough abuse in here.
It's a bit repetitive.
It's getting numb.
All right, that random
now.
guy drowning, we don't need that one.
We don't need random drownings in a book.
Her sister dies and it's like, okay, and then like nothing about it after. It's nothing.
We breeze over the sister dying, but we talk a little too much about the stranger drowning,
and too many about different step parents of the mother and the.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, I get that like traumatic incidences do stand out in your childhood, like more than like the big joys and the big painful things do stand out more. But I don't know. It's just like pick smaller moments. It doesn't need to be just like a greatest hits of like bad things that can happen to you.
Yes, it was trauma porn. It was trauma.
Maybe that's what the cat was doing.
All right.
So anyway, I chose not. You understand why I didn't finish it. It's very unpleasant.
All right, let's take a quick commercial break and we come back. Good reads, 5-star reviews. All right, Raids, little fucker. BRB. We're back. All right, you guys ready for some Goodreads 5-star reviews? All right, here is a review.
Ready.
I feel like I've read a review by this person. It's Nilufer. Oh my, some books make you feel alive. Their literal definition of endorphins trigger lots of positive feelings into your brain. They might also trigger negative feelings, but you have to toughen up to confront them. This book truly made me thankful because I'm a nerd. I'm bookish and I devour books daily, and I was born to be this way. I'm thankful to read it. It was one of the best reads of the year.
Is this AI about giving a general book review?
I wish I could give this book more than 5 stars. 5 out of 5. That was.
You read it like the person's on feed.
I know. Well, it read like it was confusing to me. Portia Joe says, it's a known fact. We eat with our eyes. I read with my eyes. Meaning many times I choose a book based on if the cover catches my eye. And when I saw Right, we can talk about it. When I saw this cover, I was drawn to it. The colors drew me in, and I found it intriguing and mysterious. Could just be me. I'm weird. Like, she's never heard the saying, judge a book like it's really. Anyway, I also think when I see that chocolate chip cookie, it's better for me than a kale salad. Anyway, I grabbed the audio based on the cover, knowing nothing about it. I asked Dana if she was up for a buddy read, and off we went, and we both loved it. The writing was wonderful. The story was great. Most of the characters were ones I grew to love. I loved her mother. The narration was amazing. This book took you right to the end. Such a dumb thing to write.
This book continued until the last page of the book.
Yeah. 5 out of 5. All right. And one more. From Emily Mathis. She says,
Matt Bomer playing Jonas? Sorry.
Oh, this is for HBO. Okay. All right, here's one more from Emily. She says, it is rare that I begin a review without adequate words, but the paper palace has stripped me bare and left me gaping. This is a story of glass, broken, repaired, but never the same. A story of longing and having, of forgetting and knowing, of succumbing and overcoming. It is harsh truth wrapped in delicate lies. It is beauty, and it is bloody brilliant. 5 out of 5. I love when people think they're writers writing reviews.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
How many drafts?
That one was so pretentious. Yeah. And I know because I too have a synonym finder on my computer.
What comes next? Attack each other?
Our hate rates.
An improv scene of somebody dying. Somebody dying, getting raped, cheating.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, there's so much action.
Yeah, let's just do our hate rates, I think.
0 out of 5.
That sounds good.
0 out of 5.
Let's hate it up.
Stop making me read about rape.
This is a tough one for me to rate. Number one, well, that is part of it. I did actually find the writing a little bit beautiful. Like, I think this is clearly an intelligent author who can write well. But the thing Clara said is really sticking with me, which is like, the book made me feel bad. Like, nothing about it made me feel like it was an insightful look at the human condition, or it was saying something. And so it does feel like there's talent here for sure. But maybe, it is talent best served in the capacity of editing somebody else's work. Ooh, that's so mean.
No, but it's okay.
So that's what this is.
Good at other things.
Yeah, have a co-writer.
Exactly. And also I'm still pissed off about the weird, like, anti,
there was a lot
conservation stuff in the book. That's like, oh, piping plovers are the only one that have rights around the beach anymore. It's like, are you arguing that we should be disturbing like the few little spots that seabirds have left to nest?
Jana,
like,
there's a little more about that.
I'm getting going
down.
There's another part towards the end where they bring it up, and they're like, yeah, it turns out all these conservationists are keeping us, the humans, away from them, but now the wolves aren't smelling the humans, so they're just eating the birds. So now the birds are dying even more because of the conservationists. That's something that happens towards the end.
Yeah, that's a really good one. That's like when someone told me recently, because I want to stop eating meat, they were like, not eating meat actually kills more animals than eating meat. And I was like, whatever. It's, even if it's true, I'm not actively killing
You're not hanging them on your
at
wall.
the very least. Yes. And so, yeah, now I'm getting madder, and now I'm down to a 1 out of 5. It's not the worst I've ever read. This is no House on the Cerulean Sea.
I think I liked it better than this one.
Yeah. Sure. All of you did. And so did our readers. A lot of people actually wrote in and told me my rating was stupid.
We need to go over ratings sometimes. I don't know why we don't go over. We should talk about our ratings, people's response to our ratings more, but
Okay, I just want to like unpack something quickly before I give my rating. What do we think the title Paper Palace means? Do we think
Good question.
Does
What
it?
is it? What is it? What is it from?
It's explained.
I don't remember.
Well, what's the question? I mean, I'll answer
No, I
correctly
guess
when
that's
you're
my
done asking a
question.
question, I guess.
Symbolically.
Oh, well, I mean, literally, it is called the Paper Palace because her, I don't know, great grandfather, stepfather,
right,
whatever,
right.
built these cabins, and he built them out of a very hard, good wood on the outside, and then on the inside, didn't insulate them in any way, and just put up, like, I don't know what the construction term is, but it's the equivalent of just like paper walls on the inside. And so they call this whole camp out on Cape Cod.
So do you think that's a metaphor for having a family? They're rich, they're in society, but
really they
all
begin
they have is generational trauma. They don't have
Mhm.
anything solid to stand on.
I do think that that's a metaphor for that, but it's not one that is fulfilled within the book. Like, I mean, they do have the shitty family, but I don't think we get to see the presentation of a nice family at any point.
Yeah.
It's implied, but I don't know. It's
Yeah.
like,
okay,
it
so
could have been
you
better.
A
vacation
for effort of
and-
having good
I don't really
potential
give
for
A's
symbolism,
for effort in this
etc.
situation.
A for effort. It's gonna be a 0 out of 5 for me.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
A for effort, but 0 out of 5. I support that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, look, I think that I agree. I think there's talent here. I think Miranda is like probably really smart, really capable, really accomplished person. And I did not like a minute of this book.
Yeah.
Probably hard to write a book.
Both can be true, right?
Yeah.
She can be talented and great, and for me, the book's a 0.
Yeah, I don't get
And
it.
I feel
Maybe
bad
she's
about
working
that.
through
But
something.
I suspect that the HBO series on it is going to be a 5. I think I'm going to love it.
Absolutely not.
I'm taking it right now.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. I think Sabrina and I will watch it
I will
together.
enjoy
I mean, when does it
reliving
come
an
out?
unpleasant time.
Yeah, I probably will. I probably watch it too. I think I agree with John in that, like, yeah, I do think, like, the writing, the sentence structure, like the descriptions, like some of those, the writing was nice. Like, this was from a capable writer, but like, I feel like, I guess because she came from like TV, I feel like it's a situation where like some people are better at dialogue, some people are better at plotting, some people are better at punch ups. Like, and it just seemed like, okay, yeah, she's obviously very good at some very visuals, but it wasn't a plot, and it wasn't certainly making me feel like I didn't waste my time reading this book. So I'm going to give it a 1 out of 5. I really would love to talk to someone who loved this book, because just like, who are you? What is your deal? Where do you come from?
What's your generational trauma?
That this is something you're into, but it might be just they're into trauma porn, and I guess that's the thing.
Yeah.
Or maybe someone who would like it is someone who like actually hasn't had trauma. And so for them, it's not like ringing hollow because they don't know what it means to ring true. I'm deep.
And maybe they need to be taken down a peg so they can read this bad fucking book that drains you of joy.
Yeah. Honestly, upon reflection, my comment feels cruel.
Yeah, truly. But it's okay. That's what it's called, Mean Book Club.
Okay. Is it called Cruel Book Club, though?
Okay, what's next? I know what's next.
We all did the ratings. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let me just get a little something to eat here.
Interesting.
That's a chocolate covered strawberry.
Are you wanting us to attack you?
Oh, nice.
Well,
I know.
No, I don't want you to attack me. I want you to know that I got a package today of chocolate covered strawberries, and the note said, "Please don't vote for me for little fucker of the cast," and they were from Jonna.
No, you are kidding me.
Wow.
No, you are kidding me.
Wait, is that real?
That's real. And on video, then I was me.
Is that real?
Wait,
that's real.
How
Yeah.
much money did you spend on this bit?
Well, I had to look up the ingredients because Beta has an allergy. So I do. So I think I know how much. It's kind of a lot.
It's
a lot.
I think
It sort of makes me uncomfortable, but also inadvertently, I didn't realize Matt was taking video of Veda eating it because it's cute. I thought I was just taking a picture, and I did say, "I'm never going to vote for Jonna for little fucker again," and that's on video. So I don't really know what to do in this situation. I mean, my hands are tied. I know what I have to do. My hands are tied.
This is hard for me because, I mean, when you pulled Claire, we pulled them out. I was like, well, Claire's a little fucker. Like, what the fuck is this? But I mean, yeah. But I honestly, like, this is so, I mean, I have to vote for Jonna because, like, that's so psychotic and manipulative. And
I mean,
Sarah, just to clarify, you didn't get a delivery, right?
No, I'm sorry. Should I check? Sabrina, did you get something?
Jonna's here in person, and I sure as fuck didn't get
okay, good.
Fruit or chocolate.
All right, that makes me feel a little better because had she given you some and
Jonna
left me out,
loves to be the little fucker.
No, she's not going to be because I'm with her. She's not getting 3 votes unless she votes first.
Forever.
Yeah,
I have an ally forever.
Yeah, but you might have 2 enemies forever as well.
Can you imagine? I was like, did Matt get this for my birthday way too early? As I'm opening it, I'm like, what is this? And like, I do feel, honestly, I feel like a little guilty. Like I got a little insecure because I do pick you a lot for little fucker. I was like, did I go too far? But no, I think seeing the other people's reaction, I think I get what's. I don't think it is a reflection on me.
I think Jonna just wants to be a little fucker.
Taking these pistachios away from Jonna.
Okay, the shelled pistachios you put out for us to enjoy while we're recording a podcast.
Okay, shelled implies that there are no shells.
The unshelled pistachios, which is crazy. They have shells on them.
Somebody is avoiding a lot of ingredients right now, and it is pretty difficult.
I want to hear more from Jonna on why she chose to send chocolate-covered strawberries to Clara. Like one, as opposed to just buying them, bringing them to Sabrina, which would have been a far cheaper option. Or
they're so good.
Yeah. Okay. Interested to know how this happened. What was the thought process?
Is a leader. And she sways a vote, and she's a very charismatic kind of leader, thought leader of the pod. And
this is
where
awesome.
Clara goes, others follow.
This is what
awesome. You guys coordinate your outfits. I thought it was
no, it's totally an accident.
It is weird. They are wearing the same,
and that's just a friendship thing.
Mm-hmm.
No,
it works out well that it's
weird
on this time when we've been teamed up.
If you're premise is, oh, I'll get Claire on my side because people will follow her. You realize that that's not working because you just pissed us off, and now
real bad.
Hate you.
Okay, well, I mean, look, it wasn't all thought through.
Sarah, I'll vote whatever you vote. I think it's Jonna. That's where my heart is. But if you vote Clara, I'd vote Clara.
I don't know. I mean, we're gonna vote Jonna, but they're going to pick one of us to vote, and I guess it's going to be a tie, but it's everyone who listens will know who the true fucker of this cast is.
Do you like the white chocolate or the dark chocolate better?
The milk chocolate I like better.
Milk chocolate. I thought you would like that one the best.
Yeah, they're good. They're really good. I suppose I could have like not revealed it at all and just silently supported you and not said why. Maybe you wouldn't have gotten the wrath of the other people. I want to be nicer to you even than I'm already being.
Yeah, the wrath.
It really works.
This is honestly really grossing me out.
Donna, you could really turn things around by voting for Clara.
I would. Why would I throw my single ally at the moment under the bus like that?
Ally forever. It's not of the moment. I mean, it's on tape. I don't have a choice.
Forever. It's an ally forever. I'm voting for Sabrina. She's coming down really hard on me. And she put out pistachios with shells as the podcast snack. It's such a crazy thing to do. You have to, for every single one, it's like a new crinkling sound and crunch every time you want to eat.
I'm just hearing about more snacks people are eating that I'm not getting. So
I'm going to vote for Sabrina because Jonna voted for Sabrina and she got me such a romantic gift.
All right. Well, so little fucker, the cast is Jonna, Sabrina. We all understand what happened there.
I don't even know how to finish have the opportunity to put my reasons for the vote on the record, which, by the way, precipitated the strawberry incident.
Wow. Okay. Yes. Please go ahead. Go ahead.
Donna didn't finish the book.
The two
Donna gave us.
I also didn't finish.
Yeah, we know.
Give her a break. I also didn't.
Well,
finish.
you were a close second, Clara. She gave us confusing roles in the summary.
Yeah.
She's taking a photo of us right now and thinks that we don't notice.
Especially because you could
cutting
screenshot
a lot of things
Jonna, instead of holding your phone up to
she's cutting a lot of things out of her diet. So I was like, what would be a snack that she could eat? And true, they make a little noise, but it was a snack, which, by the way, she said, I don't need any of that. I had dinner, and she's had several.
I think I don't want to, never mind. Well, I was going to say, I think she said she liked them earlier.
Yeah, she said she liked them.
I'm doing the best I can.
She liked them.
It's for the laughs.
And I had another thing, but I forgot what it was.
I'll just add. I can't get over the strawberries thing. It's just like, we're Mean Book Club. I feel like if you wanted to do something weird like this, you should have like sent one of us something threatening and weird, like a doll with the head removed, and then then I would have been like, oh, I
don't like that.
I would have been like, at least that would felt on theme. But what you did was like a really nice thing, but actually was really mean. I don't know. Maybe
it's good.
It's fucked up.
The fact that it's mean to you guys makes it taste all the sweeter.
Claire. Oh, and I remember the last thing that I have forgot, which I didn't bring up last week because I don't think I voted for Jonna last week. But last week, I made a brilliant point, and then Jonna looked up and said, and another thing, and then said the exact same thing.
Yeah, I remember that.
Unfortunately, you have to use that within the cast. You can't carry it to the next week.
She's bringing it up now.
Well, I'm sorry. Are those strawberries? She sent those strawberries off cast. She didn't send them during the cast.
Well, I couldn't send them during.
Well, they came today.
Clara, did you tell Jonna? Is this something that we all should know, that chocolate covered strawberries are your favorite?
No, I've actually never had them before.
Okay, weird, because I feel like they're like my favorite, and it's weird. That's another reason why it's like feels weird to me.
Oh my god!
But
another thing, which is, I do think this is probably one of the funniest moves I've seen toward Little Fucker. But because I was not the recipient of the good treat, that is another reason.
I think it's so cool.
It's pretty much the main reason.
I think it's so cool, and if it had gone to someone else, I don't know that I could have handled it.
Wait, I also think it's so funny. Now I'm just saying what I think is funny. That Clara was like, oh, we're doing Little Fucker? Hold on, gotta take a little bite. And we just thought she was being weird.
I just was like, okay.
Executing the bit.
I guess, yeah. They
could have been cooler about it, maybe. But I was like, I had been waiting the whole fucking cast to talk about it. I could have waited.
So
you remember how many times I was like, is it time for Little Fucker yet? Before Goodreads.
And again, it seems like Jonna spent, I don't know, whatever amount, I'm going to say $50 to not be Little Fucker. Okay, maybe more. To not be Little Fucker the cast.
Closer to 50.
Was, in fact, I mean, along with Sabrina, but was was also still voted Littlefucker the cast. So,
no, because there was a tie, and like she said, I'm like kind of powerful, so my vote is kind of.
It was a tie. It was a tie, but it was less me a little bit.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like Claire said,
I don't even know. We have to end
precious.
this cast, and I don't even know if I can. I don't think I have it in me. Somebody
You
else
can find
knows.
us on all the socials at Mean Book Club. Visit our Patreon. Give us some money. We spend it wisely.
This money is not coming from the book club account.
Oh, Sarah,
absolutely. Oh my God.
I think that would be a good use of it. Well, why don't we vote? and a tie will just go towards the more generous.
Okay, sassy pants. What are we reading next week?
We haven't picked yet.
Yeah, you don't
Nobody
know.
knows.
You don't know.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to choose right now.
Okay, choose right now.
A Man Called Ove.
A Man Called Ove.
By Tom Hanks.
I don't know how we're going to move past this, but we'll try. Hopefully you'll see us all here next episode.
You can't threaten them just because you're upset. For Mean Book Club, I'm Clara Morris. She's Jonas Grabus, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
I hate this. Bye.